Hi, welcome back. In the previous Ground Branch video, I talked about kit and gear and loadout. And now, I have... There we go. So we're going to rerun the airplane. Hiding up here in the mountains. So we're going to be slow and careful and sneaky. Because we know there's a bunch of bad guys. Like that one. So I said about too far to engage with an SMG. That was a bunch of shots. Get out of the open. Alright, clear down that way for the time being. Like how there's a gap in the fence here. I swear I heard something. Alright. Nothing. Okay, there's a guy. He's just walking casually though. He's not been alerted to that this guy is dead. I'm hoping to get up and into the airplane without serious engagement. I'm going to keep working slowly. Clear all this nonsense. No idea what's on the other side of this wall, so I'm going to be quiet and careful and slow. Patience is definitely a virtue. The sun is not helping me. Okay, there's a guy just casually walking. He does not know what's up. There's nobody in there. I'm gonna keep moving to my left, ignoring my cat. I'll try and get between these crates and use that wall on the other side of the crates to get closer to the plane. Make sure there isn't someone, hanging out around here having a cigarette or some such. Look at that. One step closer to the plane. And in these 5 minutes, I've covered a whole 100 feet. So now I can tell you all the stuff wrong about this 747. Move up to the gas truck. I don't see anyone or anything being the default settings. There should have been 15 bad guys on this map.
He's one of them!
Well, why he didn't blast the heck out of me, I don't know. But now we can get into the plane and clear around the cargo. Alright, a real 747 doesn't have this ladder. That doesn't exist. And this section here, through that door, aft of this bulkhead, is what we would call bulk cargo. This section, forward of the bulkhead, will be aft cargo. And that would be it. This, with all the green, is fuel tank. It is not a passage. You cannot get from aft cargo to forward cargo through here. You would have to exit the plane through the door I came in from and go back in through the forward cargo door. Now, I put 3 rounds into that guy, and I fired 3 3-round bursts at the previous guy. That's 12 rounds, plus the at least half-dozen shots I took on semi-auto. So that magazine is mostly empty. I'm going to do a tactical reload, keeping the partial magazine, and we will press on. It's a nice crank. I'm going to go to full auto here, so I can flail and spray and pray all the more. In the real 747, there is no staircase here, and this would all still be forward cargo. And I have no idea what all of this machinery is. Up in this area, we would have here serving as a hatch up to the floor, and that wall would have all the avionics, and this space should be the forward nose gear. Like there's an aft nose gear. This should be the nose gear. This is the well where the landing gear retracts up into. So it's not a space you can physically occupy. So again, their model of the airplane is very wrong. Nitrogen? Why is there nitrogen bottles on the airplane? Oxygen, yes. Nitrogen, no. Alright.
Over here!
Come on, try it again. Catch, buddy. Okay. So he ran off. I-6 is not clear though. And there's the access way to the flight deck and first class seating. And we know the door's open, stairs are here, so more people can come in. I'm going to go ahead and go upstairs and clear the flight deck just to try and make sure there isn't anyone that's going to come in behind me. With the use of another flashbang. Okay. There appeared. Hopefully I can make fun of their cockpit without getting shot in the back here. Alright, so this is a 747. It's got 4 engines, right? Why are there only 1, 2 throttle levers? That's interesting. This would be the flight engineer's position, and seeing as I can't get enough of an angle to peek at the wingtips from in here, and look out. Anyway, because this is an earlier model of the 747, it would be appropriate to have this engineer station and all this panel here, although there should be a desk, and the panel looks nothing like that. And if it's this older model 747 with the functional flight engineer station, you'd have analog gauges up here and not all of these PFDs. There should be tracks on the floor for the seats. That's what these empty spaces are for. These pilot seats slide all the way back to here, so you can actually get into the seat. And this panel does not exist. This space would be occupied by a small 2-person bunk that would be accessed through a door where this panel is. Alright. Also, being first class seating, this staircase should be off-center over here, and there should be 1, 2 boop, boop, rows of seats on this side, and not 1 on each side. Into the more traditional wide-body seating area. This is what we would call the forward galley, where all the carts and cabinets and in-flight stores are kept. These are the forward lavs, and appropriate seating. I want to say that the seating arrangement should be 3 aisle 3 aisle 3, not 2-4-2. But I'm sure there's multiple different options, so it's entirely possible that there was a setup like this at one point. But all the ones I've ever seen never had more than 3 seats in a row. But maybe this is a higher density, economy versus business class kind of thing. Because with the right seat configuration, if you don't have a first class on the upper deck, you can run 550-ish people on a 747. And either way, it doesn't look bad. Past the midship lavatories, and we're moving to the aft galley. Here's the aft lavatories. Alright, so this is that ladder we saw from the bulk cargo compartment coming up here. In actuality, there is a ladder here, but it doesn't go down it goes up to the stewardess quarters, which is going to have a couple of more bunks and a little jump seat for them to take naps, because you can have good long, 12, 14-hour flights, especially on older, slower 747s when you're doing, London to Sydney. So, I got to make fun of their airplane. It's not bad. I've seen worse renditions. My only complaint is the way the cargo section is laid out. There should only be that one access hatch in the nose up to the main cabin where I'm currently at. The nose gear should be there. That whole forwardmost compartment shouldn't exist. And that middle section with the passage between aft cargo and forward cargo shouldn't exist, because that's either A, the belly fuel tank at the forward section of that area, or at the rear section of that area is the wheel wells where the body and wing gear retract into. Now, we'll get back to the slow, methodical, tactical me getting blasted by terrorists. Now that I've cleared the plane with remarkably little fighting, I'm back on the outside, so I'll set back to semi-auto, where I will need longer ranged firepower, which was my concern in the first place when I was deliberating in the previous video about the rifle versus the SMG, and the range and the stopping power versus the compactness and the usability, and how easy it is on the ears. Now that aft access that I was just at does have a ladder to go down to the ground level, but I don't want to use a ladder. I'll be all exposed and open the whole time I'm going down and can't possibly react. So I'm going to go back to the nose section of the plane and exit through the air stairs that we saw rolled up at the front door. This staircase going down into the middle of the cargo bay, as I mentioned earlier, also shouldn't exist, and would be... Okay, there are lavatories here. This should be the midship galley section, and there should be the screens for the in-flight entertainment up here. That larger area up here, the forward galley with all these, you'd have the galley carts under the desks or under the counters here, and all these compartments with all the biscuits and muffins and coffee and stuff they're going to serve you in flight. That section where that ladder was in the middle of the plane should be another similar section. Like I said, you've got as many as 550 people you might have to feed. And even if only coffee and a donut, that's a lot of coffee and a lot of donuts. You're going to need enough space to store all that. There should be a hatch in this area near the forward door. Like, it wouldn't be open, but there at least should be a panel in the roof for the hatch, and that's going to contain the big life raft. So that if the plane goes down over the ocean and you have a water landing, and you can use the, see this bulge here on the door, is the big inflatable emergency exit slide. And those can all be used as rafts. But there is an additional raft here inside a hatch that should be here, just in case, because you can have a lot of people on the plane, so you need seating. Also, supposedly I'm going to find intel, which is just a laptop laying around, and that's part of why I was double checking on things, because I have seen no laptop. Which means it's going to be at a second location, not on the airplane. So, we're going to go check that building, and I think that hangar with the red truck down there. So, let's see, I killed a guy in the plane, I killed a guy outside the plane, and I killed a guy in the cargo bay. So I've got 3 tangos down, maybe 4. I'm going to go with 3 just because that's worst case scenario. which means there's still 12 left, like that guy that was just moving on the balcony over there, but with a suppressed pistol caliber submachine gun and no magnification, that is not a shot I'm going to take. Oh, look, there's another guy. He's standing nice and still. There we go. Folded him up like a lawn chair. That is a shot I would take, and he's a little bit closer. Alright, I want to get out of the exposed area, so I'm going to use this truck as cover on my way to the hangar. So that's the firebox, where they're storing the fire trucks. So maybe the laptop is in there. Maybe there's terrorizers in there. You know, you gotta be slow and careful and not get dead. Because the AI does move around. You know, like you saw that other guy that was just walking around under the plane. They do move around. They're not stationary. Usually. That other guy I just took out was convenient. These fire trucks. Those look like 1960s bodies. I don't see a laptop. Another thing I like about this game, like I know I started with 10 magazines for my little machine gun here. And I've fired 4 shots out of the one currently installed in the gun, and I used most of, 18 to 20 rounds out of another one that I changed but have, retained is in my back pocket. So theoretically, if I shoot through all these magazines in a big hot gunfight, I get back to that partial mag. Like, that's the thing I gotta keep in mind. Let's not get in a gunfight near fuel tanks, though, eh? There's the pumping station. Yeah, and there's the truck, the fuel truck. And the 747 holds a lot of gas. You can carry 140,000 pounds just in fuel. I know the 747-400, of which this is not. This is an older generation of 747. The 400 has the little upturned wingtips, winglets. The 400 has a maximum takeoff weight of 870,000 pounds. This older one is probably closer to 800,000, maybe 780,000 pounds. Because it'll have older engines, and it's a slightly narrower wingspan. I think they added 6 feet to each wingtip. Plus those winglets, the little sticky up part, is going to improve efficiency by dissipating the air vortices generated by the wingtip. Yes, air vortices. I also identified it as the winglet as a proper term. The winglet is the proper term. That is. It looks like a Volkswagen thing. It had a one-night stand with a Suzuki Samurai. I'd drive the snot out of it. I don't know what it is, but I want it. Especially if it's still air-cooled. Another fuel truck. The way the vehicles and stuff is laid out seems appropriate. So their level design's not bad, even if the airplane's built wrong. I know there's at least one guy in this building, right? We saw him walking around on the balcony. got an interesting double staircase. The shadow from the moving ceiling fan scared me. Alright, I'm gonna try and clear the ground floor, but
Over here!
can't.
I see enemy!
Oh, and I'm still on semi-auto. Back to burst, full auto. Okay, I'm not dead. I should be dead. Why they didn't blast me, I don't know.
Over here! I see enemy! He's one of them! Over here! I see enemy!
Load the gun, load the gun, load the gun. Don't get me dead.
He's one of them!
Okay, so that's 3, 4, plus 3 guys earlier, 7. I'm stuck in this. That worked. Top off my pistol. Whoa. I'm so glad the pistol didn't run empty on me. I don't know why I'm the mellow guy. Hey. Didn't want to do a reload and dump a full magazine, but I couldn't remember if I had reload. Your stressful situations make you forget little things like that. And it's cool that I was able to get up on the table and peek over the wall and blast the terrorizer in the back. But no laptop. I'm going to call the ground floor clear. And now they definitely know I'm here. So I'm going to use flashbang. So I still had 2. Okay. I still got smoke from the cigarette in the ashtray. That's nice. Okay, second floor's clear. Here's the balcony where that guy was walking around. He doesn't appear to be here. Alright. Where would you hide a laptop, eh? Sorry, I'm just looking at my options.
He's one of them!
Okay. Guys down? He was coming to investigate all that noise. Keep hearing the flag waving. Oh, oh, I saw him. Got a couple of bursts off. How complex is this? I can just whoop, cut the power. Nice. Okay. Sorry, there's been a couple of updates, so I haven't done a whole lot of exploring the new stuff.
He's
Okay.
one of them!
Heard him. He saw me.
I see enemy! Over here!
Why he's not shooting, I don't know.
I see enemy! It's one of them!
Run! I blew myself up. Or he shot me, or something. But yeah, that was awful. He decided to charge me right as I went for the grenade. 12 out of 15. So my worst case scenario counting was definitely worst case scenario, because I thought I was at like 9 or 10 bad guys down. Not 12. So there was that guy and probably 2 more guys inside that other building I was going to, looking for the intel. But there's ground branch. Proves my point. And I got to demonstrate my whole argument in the previous video about gear choice. You know, my smaller MP5 making it nice and easy to clear out the airplane, and being difficult to make those longer range shots, you know, outside the airplane on the other guy. But I feel like getting pinned in that little room on the first floor of the second building we checked justified my choice for the smaller weapon. And perhaps maybe, I know the MP7 was an option, so maybe the MP7 would be better because, you know, higher velocity, it's going to have a longer effective range with that teeny little high velocity 4.6 versus a good old 9mm para. Anyway, in 3/4, 75% all by myself is not bad. I should have been dead a couple of times over though, but weird stuff like that does happen in actual combat situations. Not that I've personally been there, but I've talked to a few guys. I've heard a few stories. So I'll allow it. See you in the next one.